Throw all the numbers out the daggone window right now. This is a game that's going to come down to the wire as far as who wanted the most. Jackson State is playing for another opportunity to go back to the SWAC Championship game and win the East Division to face off against none other than Prairie View A&M if they beat Alcorn State in this game. Alcorn State is looking to be the one that knocked the champ off the hill and allow somebody else to go up the mountain and take over the lead, take over the reign and say that, guess what? They now are the champs of the East. Now, the million-dollar question is exactly how is this game going to come? How's this game going to go down? And what's going to be the pieces that we're going to see out there on the field that could very well shake this thing up? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, looking at a few things, I said a few things because there's so much to unpack with all of this because these teams, when you break them down, there's a lot of different avenues that, you know, this game could go it can go down street number 3. It can go down street 5. It can go wherever it is that it wants to go. But the crazy question is, what's going to be the end result? And we're going to talk about that right after this. Your favorite coach back at it again. 10 toes down, about to tell you how it all went down. This is Tomorrow Leader Sports Network with your host, Coach Walker. If you're new to the channel, please like, share, subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you can get all upcoming videos. For all my leaders out there, welcome back. Y'all know the drill. Y'all know the routine. If you haven't done so already, please like, comment, and share these videos. And tap me in the free to tell them to come on in. It's not but positive vibes. We're just having a good time talking about HBCU sports. And don't forget, you can follow us on all social media platforms. The links are listed down below in the description. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get on in this thing because ain't no need me sitting here babbling about a whole bunch of this and that because looking at some of these things that I saw thus far, I'm like, okay, this game going to be very damn interesting to watch. Alcorn State is coming into this game. They beat Grambling State last week, in which they were able to do some things out there on the field that a lot of folks did not really anticipate them on doing. Even though Grambling was down a few players in this game, they still were able to get the W in this game and beat Grambling State. But there's one thing that I did see that kind of caught my eye with this. And they're going to look to try to slow down Jackson State's offense. And the only way you slow down the offense is doing what? You got to keep their behinds on the sideline to make sure they don't get out there and get to run up and down the daggone field and make this thing a track meet. Because you already know Jackson State can put together a 12, 19 play daggone scoring drive that's just going to gas your daggone defense out to where they're going to be sitting there. Coach, come get me, Coach. Hey, they're going to be needing Gatorade and water out there. So trust and believe, Alcorn State's going to be trying to do something like that themselves, where they're going to go ahead and try to extend drives where they can try to wear down Jackson State defensive front seven, making them make a lot of errant mistakes out there on the field. Now, I'll say this, looking at Alcorn, listen, we're going to look at this rushing attack right now. The rushing attack between these two teams, they both can, get out there and rush the ball. You got Jacorius Sewell, he's coming back into the fold. It's going to be running that ball with those running backs in Alcorn State running back room. Also, you got Reggie Davis, who is a bruiser out there on that field. Once he get them shoulders straight, he's going to come running that thing down here looking to truck your ass because he don't want you to be in his way, keeping him from getting the way he's trying to go, which is score 6 points. But the main thing is, with this offense, you have to account for the quarterback, which is none other than Jalen Tolbert. Tolbert can pull that thing down and run as well. He doesn't have a problem with dialing up his own damn numbers. Say, you know what? Hey, my option to throw this pass is not out there. I'm just going to pull this thing down. We're going to take off and go. He doesn't have an issue with doing that at all because, matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, he was the second leading rusher in the game last week against Grambling State. So I'm just simply saying that this young man can definitely turn this thing up. And you saw what he did to Southern University, where he got out there, got the run of that ball, and he started having Southern trying to guess exactly what's going on. So this is something that I do believe Jackson State has seen a lot of throughout this season as far as with quarterbacks wanting to pull the ball down and take off and run against them. Mainly last week, they saw Cam Ransom did it himself, in which he was just a one-man wrecking crew, where he was the one that had all of the rushing yards for the team because no one else could get off. So we're going to see exactly how that's going to go. Yes, Alcorn State did get bigger on the offensive line, where as far as with the offensive front, they got bigger players up there on the line. The question is going to be technique and speed. Is Jackson State going to be able to get off the ball and cause those offensive linemen for Alcorn State to grab, hold, pull, tug, where they're going to get flagged. I mean, like I didn't say this, but I'll say this now. These two teams are the two highest teams that are penalized in the SWAC this season. So this is going to be something that could very well be pivotal in this game. Guys, I'm going to tell you right now, you don't want to be out there helping the other team get first down, getting penalized on stupid stuff. So we got to really consider what we're doing out there. Just make sure that our mindset is on point as far as what, keeping the main thing as far as we're trying to shut down the other team's offense and give your defense, shut down the other team's offense, giving your team an opportunity to possibly win the game. But when you start talking about defensively, Alcorn State, they're going to definitely they have a myriad of different defense that they like to run. They run a 4-man front as well as a 3-man front. That 3-man front, they run different variations of it where I call it, this is me, myself, I made up a name for it myself. I call it like a hybrid, so to speak, because you got 3 down defensive linemen, and then you got like 3 like in like I want to say like a bell shape. Like in a half circle shape out there, half moon. We're gonna call it a half moon out there on the field where they're lining up like on the outside hips of the tackle or the defensive end in that 3-man front, and then you got the guy that's in the middle that's sitting there. Either he gonna take off and go, or he's gonna drop back into coverage, and that's something that the Jackson State quarterbacks is going to have to watch and pay close attention to out there on the field, especially when it comes down to that passing attack. They're going to have to make sure that they are accounting for players out there on the field when they release that ball to those Jackson State receivers. Now, one thing I'll say is this, that I did see with that defensive front, that they leave the edges soft. The edges are soft where if Jackson State is able to get around, get outside on Alcorn State defense, it's going to be off to the races, because one thing for certain is there's no one there. There's just like open space there. And if the receivers as well as the running backs, when they're coming out of the backfield for passes from the Jackson State quarterbacks, if they're able to see exactly what's going on and just go sit in those spots and within that coverage, it's going to be a long day for that Alcorn State defense. So we're going to see exactly how that's going to turn out as well. Now, Jackson State, like I said before, y'all cannot afford to play the penalty game. This is not the game where you sit here and say, you know what? I'm going to play down to the crap that the other team is doing out there on the field, because trust me, Alcorn State is looking to muddy this game up as much as they can to get Jackson State off their circle so that they can go ahead and knock them off their block and say, guess what? We was the ones to stop the champs from repeating. So keep in mind this. You see it, Nat, you better have that sledgehammer ready to go. You better come in that thing, swing that sledgehammer ready to go ahead and kill that Nat as much as you got, as hard as you can, with as much fervor and power that you can go ahead and just process to go ahead and just knock that Nat to the next world. Next stratosphere. I ain't gonna say next world, next daggone stratosphere, just so you can go ahead and get the W in this game. But you know what? Again, it's not gonna come easy. As I stated before, these two teams are the two highest penalized teams. Jackson State is averaging 85.5 yards per game, and Alcorn State is averaging 76.5 yards per game, and that's penalties. That's outrageous. And again, this week is going to more so be about discipline, execution, and just being able to do the little things that need to be done so that you're able to get this win. Now, neither one of these teams on the defensive back front, neither one of these teams can afford to do all this pulling and tugging and holding and all that. You can't. This ain't the week for it. I'm gonna tell you why. Because one thing that I did see in the Alcorn State game versus Southern University, number one, he likes that double move when you got 3-by-1, when you got 3 receivers on the right, 1 receiver on the left, which is him, Nico Sandifer. He's going to hit you with a double move, especially if that outside of the, especially the inside defense, based on the coverage. If that coverage is set there where there's no defender there that's dropping back into that space, into that third, that's going to cut off that slant, he going to sluggo and go. And guess what? 9 times out of 10, you're going to grab. And guess what? They're going to flag. And this is where the problem's going to be. So if we're not looking to go ahead and slow that down this week, hey, defenders, y'all better get y'all behinds out there and understand exactly what's going on. Read the hips. Read the hips. Don't look at the face. Don't look at the shoulders. Read the freaking hips, because guess what? That's going to tell you where it's going. That belt buckle right there, the center's going to let you know if he's going to go left, right, what he going to do. All you got to do is stand there, look and watch, and go from there. But I would say another thing as far as like with Jack State receivers, you're going to have those young men out there definitely getting after it as well. They're not going to slow down. They're not going to slow down any of this, allowing Alcorn State just come in there and do whatever it is that they want to do. You got Jamel Gardner, Nate Rembert, Jinsey, as well as Dupree, Savage, and Kobe Paul. These guys are looking to get out here and get some action this week. This is going to be the week where it's going to be all hands on deck for both teams. That's going to be looking to get things moving in the direction that they need to go for them to become SWAC champions once again. Now, Alcorn State, y'all going to have to play smart. Y'all going to have to play smart against Jack State defense, especially with their rushing attack and their passing game. Understand this. Jackson State is going to throw a lot of different things at Alcorn State. We're going to try to confuse them. And if they're not on top of their game, paying attention to details, there's going to be draws down. And that 45-10, 45-7 that Jack State put up on them last year, it could very well end up like that once again this season. The Braves defense has, like I said, they have a tendency of leaving the edges soft. They have a tendency of missing their assignments from time to time to just catch them out there slipping. And this is not the game to allow that to happen. This is going to be a physical game up front between in the trenches with both Alcorn State and Jack State offensive and defensive alignment. So we're going to see exactly what's going to go on. Yes, the head coach over at Alcorn State was talking about how they was getting moved around out there on the field. You got to understand this too. Even though you got big men up front, if they can't get out their stands and the offensive player can go ahead and shield them off, allowing a lane for their running back to run, guess what? It's going to be downhill sled for them all game long. So we're going to see exactly how this is going to go, because if I'm not mistaken, I think Alcorn State is allowing 127.2 yards rushing per game. So we're going to see how this is going to go. Jack State has been upwards like 200-300 yards rushing on folks per game. So we're going to see if Alcorn State's going to be able to slow this thing down. But again, Jack State on the other side, they're very stingy as well when it comes to teams rushing the ball against them, only allowing 106 yards per game. So we're going to see exactly how all of this is going to take place, how this game is going to go down. It's going to be an interesting one for sure. The Super Bowl is going to be something interesting to see, and I'm sure everybody's going to be dialed in watching to see how this thing plays out this weekend. But guys, leave your comments down below and let me know who you think is going to win this game between Jackson State and Alcorn State in the Super Bowl. But your favorite coach is going to go ahead and get up on knock this thing. But until next time, be the one and lead.